facing attempted murder charges after attacking me during the campaigns. At the next mention of their court case, I'm going to withdraw my complaint because I would like Nyerians to start with a single-minded purpose of unity so that we can be able to.
Indeed, the Jubilee Party did get a drop-off in the Nyeri County. And also, I'd like to remind you, in case you're just turning on your TV right now or you're just joining us at this moment, this is the Elections 2022, a production that has been prepared by the KUTV to ensure that you're up to date with everything that is happening concerning the elections that are going on. We are currently on the third day of tallying, and at the National Tallying Center, the Bomas of Kenya, returning officers are streaming in with the results from various parts of the country as the culmination comes together to give Kenyans the data concerning each and every vote that was cast, those who got to clinch a seat, those that were spoiled. Every detail will come live from the Bomas of Kenya as the IBC boss, Wafula Chebukati, once actually told everyone that all the clarified results will be issued by the commission. Now, elsewhere, Kimilili legislator Didmus Barasa has presented himself to Bungoma police station and was placed under arrest as investigations into a murder case go on. On Thursday, police gave him a 6-hour ultimatum to surrender to any police station. Western Regional Police Commander Peres Modoni confirmed that Barasa has turned himself in at around 10:30 a.m. today. Now, at the Bungoma police station, that is, Barasa, who is also the Kimilili MP-elect, has surrendered to police after 3 days on the run following the fatal shooting of his opponent's aide on Tuesday. He will be arraigned in court this Monday. And away from that, the long-anticipated election results for Borabu constituency have been released 4 days since the exercise kicked off amidst protest by aggrieved candidates. Presidential results saw Azimio coalition candidate Raila Amolo Odinga lead by garnering a total of 24,307 votes, as his close competitor William Samoei Ruto from Kenya Kwanza got 14,636 votes. Professor Wajakoya Ruchiri managed a paltry of 236, followed by Wahiga Mwaure's 60. The new area MP-elect is Patrick Kibagendi Osero of Azimio, an unsuccessful perennial contestant who pulled a surprise by scoring a total of 18,825 votes from a pack of 11 competitors. His avowed political opponent, Aben Daniel Rogena, from the same coalition, obtained 14,334 votes. Immediate former area legislator Ben Momanyi did not defend his seat because he had opted to vie for a gubernatorial seat, which he performed poorly from the constituency.
Total valid votes cast 39,163, rejected ballots 607. So those are the results. I'll ask Mr. Patrick Osero.
All my political opponents, this is my hand, I've stretched it out. Let us come together and work together for the next 5 years. My opponent was here. I thought I would see him here and give him a chance to talk. But since he has left, those of you who can meet him, tell him I congratulate him. That was a strong fight, and he's no small, mean person, but this is the time to put our differences aside. Political competition is part of democracy.
Just can't help but just like the way some candidates are actually even calling those who have not been able to win, and they're calling them my compatriots, my friends. We are in this race together. We are comrades, and it's something that is also very encouraging in a moment where change must happen. There must be winners, there must be losers. But the idea is just to embrace everything, because life has to move on and Kenya has to move on. So it is very much on point when the people select their leader. When they have spoken, every leader has to listen, because at this moment, the one signing the contract is the electorate. Now we go on to the coast, where former Kisauni MP Rashid Juma Benzima has clinched the seat after 5 years hiatus. Benzima of the Orange Democratic Movement won the seat with 34,747 votes, followed by the youthful lawmaker Mbarak Hamid of the United Democratic Alliance, who garnered a total of 12,336 votes. Independent candidate Gambo Beatrice Mbodze, who was the only female candidate in the race, scored 6,533 votes. The returning officer, Ibrahim Wario, declared that Benzima had been duly elected as the Kisauni MP. Wario issued the certificate of victory to the MP-elect at the Constituency Tallying Center within Shanzu Teachers Training College. In his maiden speech, the MP-elect thanked the electorate for giving him a chance for an opportunity to represent them in Parliament.
Benzimba Rashid Juma, 34,747 votes. Ndume Ngala, 1,683 votes. So, pertaining this election, I declare Benzimba Rashid Juma.
Nashukuru Mungu mwingi wa rehema aliyoniwezesha kufika siku ya leo. Nashukuru ndugu na familia yangu imesimama na mimi wakati wa kampeni. Na washukuru watu wa Kisauni kwa kufanya maamuzi ya busara kwa kunichagua kuwa mtumishi wao. Na washukuru vile vile wamedumisha amani wakati wa kampeni na baada ya kampeni. Na bado ninawahimiza kwamba katika sehemu zote Kisauni imeongoza kwa amani iliyokuwepo wakati wa uchaguzi huu. Na nimeshukuru sana ndugu watu wa ABC kwa kufanya uchaguzi wa huru na haki. Na washukuru, tumeanza nao mbali mpaka mahali tumefikia hapa. Na washukuru sana, Mungu awabariki.
Congratulations to you. And in fact, the interesting part about actually winning a slot in the National Assembly is that it's not a win. You just win and move on. It's a call to duty. And it is something that we hope as we move on, because the electorate is watching. It's a 5-year contract looking at you. Will you be able to deliver the agendas that you'd promised the electorate? And it's something of joy when you celebrate, and also remember it's a duty to all the aspirants who have actually been able to win. Now, an interesting report here. As other counties were having 6 ballot boxes in their polling stations, Kericho County was the only one actually with 5 ballot boxes. Reasons being the county woman member of National Assembly was elected unopposed. Beatrice Kemei, alias Shemababai, is the new woman rep for Kericho County after going for a second attempt, having unsuccessfully vying for the position in 2017. Now, Kemei lauded the people of Kericho County for trusting her on her leadership, promising to deliver them in her tenure in the 13th Parliament. She congratulated the new elected, and a lot was happening in this particular area.
I want to start thanking the people of Kericho in a very special way for the great honor they bestowed upon me, and they gave me the opportunity to go unopposed. Otherwise, it feels good to go unopposed. It feels good to know that you're not running up and down, asking people maybe to vote for you and all that. It feels good to know that you're not waiting for the results as a county MP. I want to once more say, may Kenyans live in peace, and those who have been voted and those who will carry the day, I will congratulate them, and those who maybe their victory is postponed to next time, I would request them to accept the results.
Congratulations to you. Unopposed, well, they trust in you. You better deliver. Now, moving on, Olkalau Member of Parliament David Kiaraho has called on all elected leaders to consider working together regardless of their political parties for the common good. Kericho, who has retained his member of National Assembly seat for the third time on a Jubilee Party ticket, said that he was glad that the people were not choosing parties but the capabilities of leaders. Kericho amassed a total of 24,058 votes, while his competitor in the United Democratic Alliance, Kamau Ngodo, came in second with 19,380 votes. Kericho and Zachary Kwenya of Kinangop Constituency are the only members of parliament in the county that have retained their member of National Assembly seats under the Jubilee Party.
I'm very, very proud of Olkarau populace because, as we all know, within the central region, there was this wave of the so-called UDA, but I think Olkarau constituents, they have braved that wave, and I think they are more concerned is the development, because I do believe they have actually picked up on me because of my development agenda in different sectors. And on that note, I think that is the right decision to make. They were not choosing parties. We were actually, all other, the great people of Olkarau constituency were looking at personalities and the capability of the different leaders who are vying for the different seats.
A call of oneness right there from Kericho, and indeed the Jubilee Party has been given a quite a beating within the Mount Kenya region. A lot of candidates have actually been flawed within the area with the party. A lot that will actually be disseminating into in our discussion with our political analysts. But at this moment, allow me to actually take a short break. I'll be back with more concerning the elections 2022. Be sure to actually get interactive on our social media channels. At Twitter, we are at KUTV_Kenya. The hashtag is elections 2022.
Wiki hii kwenye mitindo ya kipwani tunaangazia masuala ya ndoa za zamani na matatizo yanayokumba ndoa za kisasa. Naye Nasiri Maulidi, mwanahabari, mwandishi na mtaalamu wa masuala ya ndoa.
Wavulana wa siku hizi ni kwamba lazima tuwe na usikilizi, yani ujaribu kumsikiliza mwenzako anakuambia nini. Inaweza kuwa ni jambo dogo tu ambalo labda limetokea, wewe unaona kwamba ni jambo kubwa ambalo kwamba linapelekea kwamba wewe na yule mkeo muachane.
Stream live mitindo ya kipwani on our KUTV Facebook page every Saturday 4 p.m.
What's up, people? How are you doing? My name is Katali Kenya, and I will be bringing you the full packed entertainment show in the 254. Talk about trending topics on the industry 411.
When these people were doing the things they've been accused of, was I there?
We're bringing you the biggest, upcoming, and sizzling artists in East Africa coming through.
So then I got a call from Shafiweru. And he asked me, wewe, unataka kufanya radio ama ni nini?
Nikiwa solo artist wenye nilikuwa careful.
The biggest concerts and events going down in East Africa. As well as articulating youth issues that matter. There's a lot of stress and strain that is associated with early parenthood. This is the full-packed entertainment show that you cannot afford to miss every Monday from 8 p.m. This is The Scrunch Show, and see you there.
Driving and riding without incidences on the road is such an amazing experience. But do you know, while many road traffic crashes are avoidable, human behavior continues to be the leading cause. Speeding, lane indiscipline, drunk driving, distracted driving, failure to wear a helmet, and failure to use available pedestrian ways have been flagged by NTSA as the fatal 6 behaviors likely to lead to a fatal crash and serious injuries. As part of the Usalama Barabarani campaign, we request all road users to prevent these fatal little six behaviors for their own safety and that of others. When driving, ensure your speed is within the stipulated limits. The road ahead is clear before overtaking. Stick to your lane. Keep left unless carefully overtaking. You're well rested if driving on long distances, and you never drink and drive. Usalama barabarani starts with you. Fika Salama. This message is brought to you by the National Transport and Safety Authority and the European Union.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa si vuguvugu. Pepopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Welcome to Children's Corner. Welcome to
Children's Corner.
Children's
Corner.
Welcome. This is the election 2022, and a lot is happening in the country concerning the general election that is going on. Currently, tallies are being verified at the Bomas of Kenya from the 290 constituencies all over the country. Currently, around 15 have been verified, and the returning officers are streaming in. Currently, at around 130 have yet to be cleared, and they're streaming in slowly as the tallying process is ongoing in that particular area. We also have our reporters right there on site to give us everything that's breaking out concerning everything that concerns the whole election from ground there at the Bomas of Kenya. Now, among the results that are out from the 15 constituencies that have been verified is India, where the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga garnered 6,872 votes, while UDA's William Ruto got around 41,293 votes, with Agano's with parties David Wahiga garnering 152 votes. The Roots Party had 232 votes. We also had verified results from Gatundu, where there was a total of 79,860 voters who were registered, and of the votes cast, Raila was able to secure 475, and Ruto was able to garner around 12,290 votes, with Wahiga Maure securing 712 votes. I beg your pardon. Wahiga Maure was able to secure 223 votes, and Wajakoya George Ruchiri was able to secure 311 votes. Now, the data is still streaming in from various centers, and as they are being verified at the Bomas of Kenya, where all those who are there, the clerks in particular, have been doing a very tough job, but tedious job it is, but one that has to be done as the country selects its new set of leaders to govern it for the next 5 years. And now we move on with the reports of the results that are coming out, where we head to Mombasa, where Amina Mnyazi of ODM has been declared by the IBC as the Malindi MP-elect after garnering a total of 21,634 votes, becoming the second woman to occupy the seat in the constituency. Mnyazi beat 7 men and emerged the winner. The first woman to be MP in Malindi was Aisha Jumwa, who is eyeing the Kilifi governor's seat. While making her announcement at the Malindi constituency, returning officer Mwanajuma Ali said Mnyazi was followed by former MP William Tengo of PA, who garnered 9,437 votes, then Daniel Chai Chiriba of the United Democratic Alliance, who matched third with 7,221 votes. Nixon Kingi Nyul of the Safina Party, a teacher who is a newcomer in the political arena, was fourth with 1,782 votes. Others were Kalama Kenneth Mulemo, who was actually moving as an independent candidate, who secured 900 votes. Peter Ponda of the Amani National Congress got 505 votes, while lawyer Richard Otara garnered 312 votes, while Tawea Kaingu garnered 105 votes. The returning officer said that Malindi had a total of 94,605 registered voters. The total number of valid votes cast was 41,896, while a number of 571 were rejected.
Certificate of elected member of National Assembly. The constituency returning officer hereby declares that Amina Laura Mnyazi of ID number 2507 8757 has been duly elected as the member of National Assembly for Malindi constituency in the election held on 9th day of August 2022.
Indeed, it is refreshing to see another woman securing an elective seat in the 2022 general polls. We now move to the Bomas of Kenya, where I'm being told that there is something going on, but we'll be back in a moment concerning that. And moving on, incumbent Garsen Member of Parliament Ali Wario Guyo has managed to retain the constituency seat. Guyo, who was vying on an ODM ticket, garnered a total of 12,825 votes against his closest competitor, Ahmed Bashora of the Wiper Party, who managed 7,646 votes. A total of 55,453 voters cast their ballot in the August 9th poll. Now, Guyo made a comeback as MP in the area that has had a reputation in the recent polls of not retaining incumbent legislators.
The constituency returning officer hereby declares that Ali Wario Guyo of ID number 21585244 has been duly elected as a member of National Assembly for Garsen constituency.
Mine is to thank also IBC for conducting fair, credible, and peaceful election in the same constituency. I also thank my worthy competitors, the candidates who applied for this position. I thank them for maintaining peace. I also thank the people of the same constituency for maintaining peace during this period.
And from Garsen, we head to Migori County, where Dr. Ochilo Ayako has been declared the winner of the Migori gubernatorial seat. After a stiff competition that attracted 8 competitors, Dr. Ochilo was declared the winner by the Migori County returning officer and election manager, Mr. Ben Moseti, after garnering a total of 175,000 votes, 226. Now, Ochilo won the seat on an ODM ticket, an affiliate party under the Azimio la Umoja Kenya Alliance. Now, defeating his closest rival, John Pesa, who managed to get 126,171 votes, 49,050 vote margin. Ochilo was the current senator of Migori on the senatorial seat. Now, the newcomer, Eddie Okech, garnered 295,228 votes, trumping competition from his competitors, Sophia Dibrina, who received 27,682 votes, and Billy Mijungu, who secured 14,735 votes. Eddie will replace Ochilo Ayako, who decided to go for the top county job. The woman representative seat was clinched by Fatuma Zainab Mohammed, an independent candidate. Fatuma, who lost in the ODM nominations, defeated her long-term political competitor, Denita Gatti, by garnering 154,000 votes, 538, against Gatti's 117,597 votes. That was the nominated MP representing people living with disabilities in the 12th Parliament and the first woman representative for Migori County. Fatuma, who is also a businesswoman in Migori County, will replace Dr. Pamela Odhiambo in the 13th Parliament as the first woman representative.
County Governor, Migori County, 2022. Boko George Achia Ayako, 175,226. Mohammed Philip Ogwari, 7,135.
We are going to form a government that is inclusive of all of us. We are going to deliver on all the commitments that we made to the people of Migori, but more importantly, we will fight corruption. We will ensure that the new administration lives to its belief that we will not tolerate corruption.
And from Migori County, we come to Kilgoris, where Julius Sunkuli, who last represented Kilgoris constituency between 1997 and 2002, clinched the seat on a Kanu ticket after defeating 8 other aspirants in the hotly contested seat. He had served in other high-profile positions in the previous regimes, among them Internal Security Minister and Kenya's ambassador to China. The outgoing legislator, Gideon Conchella, who decided to try his luck in the Narok County senatorial race, held the seat for 20 years since taking it from Sunkuli. In the results announced by Kilgoris constituency returning officer Lilian Liluma, Sunkuli garnered a total of 20,293 votes, beating off competition from his closest competitor, John Lekakeny Ololtua of the United Democratic Alliance, who got 16,713 votes. Shadrach Olungui Sabaya of the Jubilee Party came third with 12,957 votes, while Joel Tassur, an independent candidate, came fourth with 1,889 votes. Former Neema boss Dalton Oloishiro Conchella of the Ubuntu Party followed closely with 1,882 votes. Moses Ronkoi, an independent candidate, also followed with 1,379 votes, while Richard Kelele, an independent candidate as well, garnered 621 votes. Johanna Langat, another independent one, garnered 333 votes, whereas Joshua Partumai of the DAP party came finalizing the whole list with 262 votes. In his victory speech, Sunkoli thanked his family and the electorate for the support and trust, hailing his opponents for carrying out mature and issue-based politics. Sunkoli promised to bring all of them on board for the betterment of the region. Now we move to the west, where the Ford Kenya party has swept most of the elective seats in Bungoma as rebels who ditched the party to form the new DAP Kenya party failed to see the light of day in Tuesday's general elections. DAP-K boss Wafula Wamunyinyi was among the casualties. Governor Wycliffe Wangamati and Dr. Eseli Simiu wanted to oust Senator Moses Wetangula, but all of the three have lost to the Ford Kenya contestants. The four Ford Kenya MPs elect announced by the IBC include John Makali of Kendui Constituency, who garnered a total of 32,099 votes, Martin Wanyonyi from Ebuye East, who garnered 12,864 votes, while Majimbo Kalasinga from Kabuchai constituency was able to garner 37,627 votes, and Murumba Chikati from Tongaren constituency, who garnered 20,689 votes. It is the musical chairs that are in the political arena. Now, it is a very valuable thing to a people and a major ingredient for development of any nation, and that is peace. And as we sojourn through the 2022 general elections, the message of peace and tranquility is one that is very loud in a nation that has some unfortunate outcomes after the elective processes in the past.
Calls for peace have dominated the talk around the Republic among most Kenyans as the country steers into the election arena.
Sasa nyinyi viongozi, nawaomba jameni, mutulie, muende slow. Muombe, lakini musipiganishe hii watu. Musiruhusu damu imwagike. Wananchi wakiamua ni fulani, we mwingine tulia, safari ingine itakuwa yako, lakini usigonganisha wananchi. Na hawa wote ni wetu. Nyinyi ndio mtaamua.
Because for Alama being a contrast from the theme enshrined in the national prayer and anthem, let one and all arise in common bond united, with the division of historic proportions being witnessed among the people after the ballots have been cast. The 2007 polls for many mark a premise that many would like to forget, despite it being etched in the archives of history and standing out as a testament of the Turkey matter of the transfer of power. More than 1,100 lives were lost, with an even larger number displaced after being evicted in the political hostility, marking them refugees within their own state and creating a season that would get registered in Kenya's books of regret over what can actually happen when the glue of unity and good neighborliness is worn off by the clouds of tribalism. 5 years after a coalition government was created to pacify the stalemate between the contesting rivals, fears of a repeat chaotic end were overtaken by a relatively peaceful power transition in 2013. With Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto securing office.
Give me great pleasure now to give to the President-elect the certificate of the results.
And as the days grow into months and subsequently matured into years and hit the threshold of 5, another decision-making season was upon Kenyans, the 2017 general polls. This time around, the environment had an unpromising cloud of chaos, especially due to the heated dispute between the leading outfits that ended up at the corridors of the Supreme Court and subsequently a repeat election.
Presidential election held on 8th August 2017 was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the applicable law, rendering the declared results invalid, null, and void.
This country is in a crisis. Anybody who is saying otherwise is living in denial.
Please repeat after me. I, Uhuru Kenyatta.
However, after the handshake between the two leading rivals, Raila Odinga of NASA and Uhuru Kenyatta of Jubilee Coalition, the tipping pot that was Kenya found stable footing. It is understandable, therefore, that as the 2022 polls stream through, the call for peace is being relayed desperately by many within and outside the country.
There will be Kenya after 9th of August. 9th is not the end of the world and it's not the end of Kenya. So everyone needs to be responsible in the manner in which they conduct themselves, in the kind of things they say.
Zidi kuwa na amani. Tuzidi kupendana. Siasa ni siku moja na kesho yake tuendelee na maisha yetu kama kawaida.
Hakikisha kwamba tunadumisha amani na jamii ambazo tunapakana pamoja, jamii ambazo tunaishi pamoja. Tuwe ni kitu kimoja, sababu Mungu alituumba tuwe kitu kimoja.
Without peace, there is no development. Without peace, there is no happiness. Without peace, there is no joy. We pray that these elections will be peaceful. That's what we desire. That's what we believe in. And that is what God will grant this country. And in the end, we will be careful to thank God.
The decision scale in the general polls is an enormous one, thus necessitating a collective call for all in surmounting the vision of the nation. It is therefore key for Kenyan people to meditate on the third verse of the national anthem. In common bond united, build this our nation together, and the glory of Kenya, the fruits of our labor, fill every heart with thanksgiving.
Development, the life of a nation is a continuous process. It is not a process of starting and stopping. It is a continuous process. But the most important thing is that it must be a process where people move together.
And realize that Kenya needs to remain Kenya and steady on its development agenda for generations, and this will only be attained by one people in harmony and tranquility.
Linalosema God bless Kenya.
People must work together if you are to succeed.
Emmanuel Kutosi, KUTV.
Indeed, God bless Kenya. And the message of peace is one that should actually be spread all over, because we are brothers, and even through this journey, we are together. And also, a lot is happening, and that all has to happen because it's a journey. It's a 5-year tenure. Then you move on. There are those who will retain seats. There are those who will lose seats. There are some who have gone for the whole term, like some governors, 2 terms, so you have to step out of office. And among those who have actually completed their 2 terms running and actually in the whole process of governing various departments in the country is the president. He has been on tenure since 2013. He was able to secure a win in the 2017 elections, and his tenure is coming to a close. Now, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the 4th president of the Republic of Kenya, has been at the helm since the determination of the 2013 polls, and a 10 years run leaves officially after the 2022 general polls. And as he takes off his military regalia as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Kenya, we get to introspect on the journey of this leader.
At almost noon on October the 26th, 1961, the cries of a baby diffused the atmosphere of the late Jomo Kenyatta's household. After a 7-year detention in the struggle for independence of Kenya, the late Jomo held the gift of a son whom he looked at as a vision of the realization of the impeded liberation, naming him Uhuru Kenyatta. And as he looked at him, one can only guess his thoughts, as this would be the one who decades later would take his seat as the nation's leader. The young Uhuru began his educational journey in 1965 at the Loreto Convent School, and he would later move on to St. Mary's High School, where he was a renowned rugby player. In 1985, he graduated from the Amherst University in Massachusetts, America, with a degree in political science and economics. On coming back to Kenya, he worked as a teller at the Kenya Commercial Bank before starting his own company, Wilhelm, that sourced and exported agricultural produce as well as managing his family's vast business empire. Uhuru would begin his dance in the political arena in 1990, and in 1997 he became chairman of the KANU branch in his hometown, a party that had a huge role in his late father's political trajectory, and he tried his chance at securing the Gatundu parliamentary seat, but it eluded him. Despite the flop, he seemed to draw the attention of the late President Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, who nominated him to the Tourism Board in 1999 before adding him the responsibility of chairing the National Disaster and Management Committee. In 2001, he was nominated to fill a parliamentary seat, and under the grooming of the late Moi, was made Minister for Local Government. Moi would go on to declare Uhuru his successor, handing over to him the responsibility of steering the ruling party KANU into the 2002 general elections. Uhuru would make his first stab to clinch the seat of power once occupied by his late father, but he lost the election to the late President Mwai Kibaki, taking a spot as the official leader of opposition for the next 5 years. In 2007, the election season, Uhuru backed down from the ballot, choosing to back the incumbent Mwai Kibaki for a second term. It was an election that witnessed heavy contention, and the stalemate was pacified by a grand coalition government, and Uhuru became deputy president alongside William Ruto. It is within this season that the Constitution was amended and promulgated in 2010, and in the 2013 general elections, Uhuru and his newfound companion William Samoei Ruto sailed through winners to form the first government under devolution. The journey would go past the 2017 polls, where the duo would clinch a second term that would come to cease in 2022. A journey of 10 years in power and 32 in active politics, clearly visible on the face of the first son of the late Jomo and Mama Ngina Kenyatta.
The close of an era, history making itself quite vivid. It's good to actually be alive on this day, on this season, the election season. Something to be grateful about, because you're seeing the changeover of an era, one regime to another, a leader who has to step away and a new one who has to come around. Now, a lot has been happening in the matters of results coming in. New governors are coming in, new senators are coming in, and even some incumbents have been able to retain their seats. And right now we're going to go through several who have been able to clinch these spots that were quite coveted. aspirants who were successful in the whole run seeking various elective positions. And you can't help but allowed actually for the whole KUTV team that is actually putting one foot in front of the other to ensure that you get updates concerning these all reports. Now, right now I'm joined by one among the great team, by Bentura Kwamboka, who is at the Bomas of Kenya to give us updates on what is happening right there on the ground. Bentura Kwamboka, if you can receive me currently, give us an update of everything that is happening at the Bomas of Kenya.
Well, thank you, Okutosi. And we are still here at the Bomas of Kenya, where the tallying of the national presidential result is taking place. And since the last time we spoke with the morning team, we've been able to have 3 constituencies result read out, and that includes Gil constituency in Nakuru County, and County in Makueni County, and Aldai in Nandi County. So those are the latest updates we've had. And earlier on, actually, we had a scuffle here at the amphitheater. We had some of the agents, they were actually scuffling because of a laptop which was brought to the floor where they are conducting the tally of Form 34A. But anyway, the IEBC official has clarified that the agents are supposed to have the laptops, but they should be thoroughly checked before they go to the tables where they are doing the tally. And actually, we've witnessed a number of leaders today here at the Bomas of Kenya. We've seen Alfred Mutua here. We've seen Gladys Boshule, who's the woman representative of Uasin Gishu County. Earlier on, we had Sosion, who and also Jaguar. Nixon Korero was here. Charity Ngelu, and also Muranga Governor Mwangi Wairia was also in this area at the Bomas of Kenya. But a few have left, but we still have some. It seems like it's going to be quite a busy day here at the Bomas, because we understand 99.94% of the Form 34As have already been submitted here physically.
And Ventura, we were able to actually receive some data from that area where we are told that the county returning officers are moving in one after the other. Have you been able to see this motion among the county returning officers, and like paint us the mood around the area? How is the area? Because for a moment you have just told us about the scuffle that was being witnessed here and there concerning that laptop. But I'm curious about the atmosphere at the Bomas of Kenya. Is it silent? Is it noisy? How is the Bomas of Kenya currently right now?
Since the scuffle happened, we had a second scuffle again, but the security apparatus have already contained the situation here at the Bomas. If you can see, my camera person can show you around. The activities are relatively calm as they were in the morning, but the mood around after that scuffle, it's not that easy, but I can say relatively right now it's a bit calm here.
And Ventura, early in the morning we received reports that around 15 constituencies had been verified. The results had been verified. So far, what has the IBC commissioners been saying? And currently, if you were to maybe look around, do you see like when will this process last for? Like how long should Kenyans wait, probably from your perception right there on the ground, the Bomas of Kenya?
I don't know if I've got your question clearly, but I can touch on a number of issues. Earlier on, our Flat Bukati, who's the IBC chair, had said that the returning officers presenting their papers, it's a bit slow than they would usually expect. But all in all, we expect that the presidential results will be announced in the stipulated time, that's within 7 days that they have been given. We we anticipate any time, probably from tomorrow or before 15th, that Kenyans would have already known who's their fifth president.
Thank you very much, Bentura Komboka. That is Bentura Komboka live at the Bomas of Kenya, the National Tallying Center, the nerve center of the whole elections 2022, where the national tallying is being culminated and will be reported from site. And in a moment, we are about to engage our political analyst for the day, Professor Thomas Destiny Namwamba, who will be breaking us one or two of things, or the observations that he's been able to make concerning the whole election 2022. We take a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to reap a big tip on how not to run into losses. Forget the preachy business blogs, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation. Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. We tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable and often smile to the bank. Lula is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pipopa si vuguvugu. Pipopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Imagine living in a society that embraces social justice and equal opportunities for all. On Woman Crush Wednesday, Rise Today, we bring you experts for meaningful conversations on matters gender equality.
Mimi nasaona hakuna gender equality as we speak.
So we continuously work with the men.
I feel that they're judging the girl. Parenthood.
Mind is very important in infertility.
Mental and physical health.
You need to be surrounded by a proper network.
After nimeanza healing process, nilikumbuka kuhusu boys na wase wenye niliacha ghetto. Kila wakati nilikuwa najaribu kutafuta mbinu yenye naweza wafikishie ujumbe.
I feel like if you have 15 minutes, if you have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever amount of time, use it, because any physical activity is beneficial. No physical activity is dangerous for you.
And we touch on current affairs.
Marrying is a journey. It means you're taking a journey together.
I'm dying to be different.
Changamoto ziko, but you can't sit there saying, oh, mimi nitafanya mziki siku yenye dozi takampo.
You look at this person and you're like, wow, they just woke up and they found themselves here.
Join us every Wednesday morning at 7 to 10 a.m. here on Rise Today Woman Crush Wednesday. I am your host, Nina Gikunda.
Sasa ni bora zaidi, mwanzo mpya, mambo mapya. Msimu mwingine wa Boresha Kilimo unakuletea teknolojia ibuka, kilimo mseto, uongezaji thamani. Teknolojia dijitali ya mauzo inawezesha ufikiaji wa masoko. Soko moko yako, mahangaiko yako ya kufikia masoko yamefika kikomo, manake tunao Mkulima Yangu.
What Mkulima Yangu does is it connects farmers with the market.
Hii ni Boresha Kilimo kwa ushirikiano na Mkulima Yangu. Hatafutaye hachoki na kichoka kesha pata. Kwa makala maalum ya kilimo, ungana nasi kila Jumamosi saa 6:30 kwenye kipindi ukipendacho Boresha Kilimo.
This is the election 2022. In case you're opening your TV right now for the first time, you're joining us from wherever you are. This is the election 2022, a production that has been prepared right here at KUTV to ensure you get the experience, you get all of the updates concerning the general elections that is happening right here in the country. And the tallying process is currently ongoing in the Bomas of Kenya, where the final results will be released. Now, a lot of new names have been noted even in the whole run-up. You can look at the governors in Nakuru County. Susan Kihiki is the Nakuru governor-elect. And there is a lot that is happening. And right now I'm joined by Professor Thomas Destiny Namwamba. Professor, how are you?
Hello, fine. Good morning. Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm well. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Good.
And were you, Professor, I'll just go straight to it. Like, I'm curious about your perception or your view concerning the whole general election that is going on right now. Now, I'm curious to know, how have you seen the whole process? And even I'm curious to know, were you able to vote?
Yeah, thank you very much for the invite to discuss this very, very critical topic. Mm-hmm. Let me start by saying that, yes, I did vote, and I can show it on my finger that I did vote. I had to travel all the way from here to Budalani Constituency in Busia County. I voted, and then I got my way back to Nairobi to embark on my daily duties of dispensing knowledge to my students.
Mm-hmm. So you are awaiting the results with the rest of Kenyans, as we are, all of us.
Yeah, truly. I'm curiously awaiting the results, and I want to urge all the Kenyans that whatever course it takes, let's maintain sobriety. Mm-hmm. Let's know that this country is bigger than all of us, and let's know that peace, when it prevails, then we will be able to embark on our duty as Kenyans to build this nation.
And Professor, I believe you're more polished than I am, because I believe you've been actually part of several power-changing exercises in terms of the voting exercise. Looking at the 2022 general elections, how would you compare it to various that you've been able to witness in the past?
Let me say that there have been a number of elections in this country that we have witnessed, but this particular election has proved to be the hotly contested election since independence. And two, it is also an election that the Kenyan people were expected to come out in large numbers to choose their next president. Unfortunately, the turnout was not so as impressive as it was expected, but there are many factors that we may use to explain as to why many Kenyans were not able to come out in large numbers and participate in this critical election.
And I'm looking at the broader spectrum. We had observers coming in from various states to come, and they're actually even present right now in the country as we go through this whole process. Kenya has marked itself as an icon, one country that is outstanding even within the continent of Africa. Now, I'm going to ask you this because I believe this is a place that you can actually dance on and actually give me details concerning it. Now, the place of Kenya as an economic giant within the East African community, and also one which actually has been represented in various organizations even across the globe. Why is the Kenyan elections in that way, or what is the impact that is to other nations, so much so that they are so invested in actually maintaining keen contact with the whole process and how it's being carried out in the country?
And let me start by saying that Kenya plays a very, very critical role in the context of the networks in the Eastern Africa. Kenya has proven since independence to be the gateway to the Eastern Africa countries. And number two, Kenya has also been one of the islands of peace within the region. And so it has really stood out as a model among the East African countries as a country that cherished peace, despite a few elements of disruption that we've always had during election. And number three, Kenya is also a model of democracy in the East, not only in East African region, but also in the entire of Africa. We have always, and we have since independence, embraced the spirit of democracy, where we give the Kenyan people opportunity after every 5 years to choose their leaders willingly and freely. Unfortunately, just as any other countries in the world, you do not lack elements who are destructive in the context of the dispensation of democracy. And so there have been elements here and there, not only during this election, but even in the previous election, who want to apply crooked means as to suffocate the means of democracy. There are those who try to rig, there are those who bribe even the election officials, and there are those election officials who also take such an opportunity of election as their opportunity also to enrich themselves, and they fall prey to greedy and selfish and uncaring politicians who will use any means possible to suffocate the spirit of democracy and betray the will of the people to choose the leadership that they need. And yes, Kenya is a very, very critical and a center of commerce. It is the hub not only of commerce in the region, but it is also one country within East African region that networks Africa with the rest of the world. So the importance of Kenya as a center of peace, the importance of Kenya as a conduit to the rest of the world, and the importance of Kenya as the icon of peace and tranquility, and a model to be emulated by other countries, not only in Africa, but also in the rest of the world. It cannot be contested, and that is why any election in this country attracts all other countries to ensure that peace prevails and to ensure that democracy is tenable. And that's why you find that at the African Union, the Commonwealth, and even the United Nations, if it has the capacity, would always want to send their observers to ensure that the will of the people is respected and that the principles of democracy are enshrined and are strengthened, and also to ensure that the leadership that comes into place is not the crooked leadership that actually uses shortcuts to suffocate the principles of democracy.
Mm-hmm. And Professor, I'm going to inquire from you, because Kenya, as a global nation, a global partner, has a responsibility of ensuring that the sustainable development goals are attained within its protectorate. Now, I'm looking at the matters of gender parity. According to the sustainable development goals, it should be at around 50%. Now, currently in our recent elections, we've seen a lot of more so not a balance in the matter of gender. There is quite disbalance, but this time around we are seeing some big names come about. We have in Nakuru County, as I was saying earlier, Susan Kihika has been able to secure the Nakuru gubernatorial slot. We have Kawiria Mwangaza, who was an independent candidate and has been able to secure the Meru gubernatorial slot. Gladys Wanga I beg your pardon, Gladys Wanga in Homa Bay has been able to secure the gubernatorial seat in that particular county. Now, and there are also new names coming about in different slots within the whole results as they continue coming in. I'm going to inquire from you now in actually attaining these development goals and looking at the way things are coming out and the results are coming out this time. Do you perceive that we may be able to maybe even raise our ratings slightly higher in attaining these sustainable development goals on gender parity?
Thank you very much. I want to start by underscoring the notion that any nation in the world that respects the will of the people, and especially the place of the women in society, it is a nation or a society that can prosper and grow. Women plays a very critical role, not only in the political dispensation, not only in matters of bringing about peace and reconciliation, not only in matters that need to be mitigated within society, but also in the reconstruction and the development of the economies of the nations. And the faster we realize that in this country, the better we will be placed, so that we create a community or a society of equal partners, that women and men are partners in development, and that we are partners that coexist side by side with one another. I am happy that quite a number of women have managed to score quite a number of seats, but I also want to express my dissatisfaction, because women have been given a lot of opportunity in this country where they should actually allow their voice to be heard. I have in point a situation where we have had some candidates, and this should not be looked at as a bias statement. Should be looked at as a statement that needs women to awaken to the reality that the support between men and women and the standing together to show that if a woman is given a chance, then it is not a chance only for that particular woman, but it is a chance for all women of this country. And that women expressing solidarity and standing together and supporting one another, it will be the only way to awaken the consciousness of men of this country, that the voice of women, if it is not heard, then half of the society is not served. And so I want to urge the women of this country that as much as us women, us men, I mean, we want to give you respect, we want to stand by you, we want to support you. We also want you to show cause, as us men do, that you have the capacity to demonstrate the will, that you have confidence in yourselves and you have confidence to support fellow women, and that you can stand with fellow. I'm saying this without a pint of regret, because when I went home to vote, I actually realized that the people who talk negatively about fellow women candidates are not actually men. They are fellow women who feel that they cannot be able to allow their fellow women to lead them. And that is very, very disappointing in a nation where we are fighting for affirmative action, in a nation where we feel that if women are competitive well enough in the arenas of politics, then they should be given a chance equally as we give that chance to men. And we should stop looking at them being sexist and looking at women as women and men as men. We should be looking at them in terms of the capacity to steer this country to greater heights of development. We should be looking at them in terms of the ingenuity of their mind, that they have the potential of recollecting this country and putting it back to the path of economic progress and prosperity. We should be looking at them in the context of their mental potency, that they are able to think as better and as well as how the good men of this country can think. And the moment we come to that realization that we are equal partners in development, that we need to give each other the opportunity to lead, that we do not look down upon others as women and up on others as men in the context of leadership, but we look at them in terms of the capacity, in terms of the mental potence, in terms of the ingenuity, then I believe that we will be able to be on the track of progress as other nations. You look at a country like Rwanda, for example, it has given that platform that in leadership where there is competition, let's allow each to show the capacity to lead, not what is behind the plots that we put on. Thank you.
Very well put, in fact, in matters of capacity. Now I'm going to delve into another quite related matter, because when you talk about capacity, I'll have to look at the youth in the country. There tend to be the vast numbers of people who are among the voters, even in the current elections and the voting that just got completed is the youth. Now, our estimate was put at around 8 million. That's among the total number of 22 million. It was termed that around 8 million are the youth. And unfortunately, during the turnout, there was also a very low number of these voters specifically on the queues. There was a very low turnout, even by our reporters who were on ground. They were able to establish that there was some sort of disbalance among the voters. You could see that the young voters were not really there the way they are there in the campaign season. In the campaigns, you see a lot of young people. But when you come to the voting, such is not what is reflected there. Now, I'm looking at the factor that it is capacity that should be embraced in the whole leadership process. As the youth in the country, do you think we have reached a level where we actually have the capacity to actually become the leaders who were termed sometime the leaders of tomorrow? Has today come for young people, and can young people effect change right now, maybe even in the forthcoming polls? Or what is the power of the youth generally right now?
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that I have been I'm still a very, very strong advocate of the youth empowerment. I believe that the youths, once given the opportunity, they can do better what even the elderly people or the people above the age of 50 can do. I have the strong belief that the energy that propels the youth, that the raw brains that still is so energetic that defines the youth, that even the physical energy of these youths, these are three components that a nation needed to tap in to grow this country and to make sure that we create a platform of prosperity for all the people. But there is one disease in this country that has actually put the youth in the mirror of responsibility. You know, being a youth is one thing, and being a responsible youth is another thing. We are not just going to pride in being youthful without priding in being responsible youths. I have seen many people being used by the politicians and the youths. I've seen many people who turn against one another during the electioneering time are the youths. I've seen many people who pick stones and throw at the innocent motorists and pedestrians during these hyped moments of election are the youths. I've seen many people whom you will find in bars suffocating under the influence of alcohol and drugs during this electioneering time, as to forget to wake up the next day to go to vote. being the youths. And I've seen many people who engage in the mischiefs that negate the principle of sanity, the principle of sobriety, the principle of maturity in mind, and the principle of taking responsibility of a nation being displayed in among most of our youths. But I'm not blaming the youths for all these negative or these vices that they engage in. There are certain things that this country has not been able to do for the youths that have led many of the youths to this brink of collapse into vices. And one of them is the level of poverty among the youths. I really feel bad whenever we promise the youth jobs, we are talking about the jobs that nobody wants to go for. And I don't know what mitani, I don't know what to do, I don't know NYS, I don't know this. These are jobs that nobody wanted to go and embrace, but then we throw them at the youths. We have so many educated youths in this country who have gone to the university, they have degrees, who have gone to the polytechnics and middle colleges, they have diplomas, but nobody wants to give them jobs. Every time they are looking for jobs, they are being asked for experience, and nobody wants to give them jobs to get that experience that they are looking for. So there is a very high level of desperation among our youths. And this desperation and the poverty level drives them to become machines of utility by the politicians who have the command of resources, such that a politician who commands resources and he can buy 50 youths to act as goon to kill their opponents or to kill other youths, he will do it at will. And the youths will do it without blinking their eyes because they need something to eat, they need something to put on, they need something to drink, and they have no source of income to do those things. So there is a very high level of desperation. There is a high level of poverty. And as a result, the notion and the idea that the nation belongs to the youth is actually being betrayed by the current generation in leadership. And unless we take cognizance of where we have placed the youths of this country, we are actually sitting on a timed bomb. A timed bomb where the dissatisfactions, the desperations that define majority of our youth today, it is going to explode. If you hear about revolutions, about resistance, about people joining militant factions, about our youth joining terrorist groups, or the even emergence of terrorist gangs within a country, this thing comes up as a result of desperation among the youths, as a result of the nation leadership having condemned their youths to destitutes of poverty. And the moment you condemn your youth to be destitute of poverty, you should just be counting days because the explosion is due. And when that explosion comes, it will be so unbearable. But more importantly, what I want to say is that as the youths of this country, we need also to wake up to the reality of the times. We need to wake up to know that we must also be competitive as to get our space in the political dispensation. We must be so proactive as to show responsibility, as to be able to occupy our rightful place in decision-making chains of governance. We must become mature in mind as to show the elderly people in leadership that as much as they are there, they should be moving steps as we move in to occupy those places. And we must be urging the elderly of this country that it is very, very important for a country that needs to progress to make sure that there is no lapse in the progression of education of leadership within the cadres of its people, between the elderly, the middle, and the youth, that there is that progression and transition of knowledge on the capacity to lead, the capacity to grow economy, the capacity to reconstruct the society, that our youths can start learning. I look at this country at times and I feel like shedding tears because no politician outside there, apart from looking at youths as instruments of violence, No politician takes time to groom, model the youths into the future leaders. And I can ask this for free, that even today, apart from those few youths who have pushed themselves through doing other things that have given them a name to be able to ascend to positions of power, people that you call celebrities or celebs in this country, people who have used their natural talent in music, make some little money and then jump into politics, you know them. People who have used their natural talents in sports and athletics, and when they make money, they jump into politics, you know them. Apart from those youths who have been born in very rich family and they only inherit leadership from their parents because they have inherited money, you know them. You tell me any youths from lowly family like some of us with the potential of the mental capacity and propensity, people who have worked hard to become what we have become. Anytime you try to show your face in the corridors of power, to show that you know where the country has come from and where the country is going and where you feel it should go, you will be hit so hard. You will be hit so hard by those who are in power and their children whom they want to take over power. And so we have not been able as a nation to create a positive platform where we can groom, model, and motivate our youth to aspire to leadership for the sake of serving the nation. The youths who aspire to leadership today, they aspire to leadership because they know the moment you become a member of parliament, you say goodbye to poverty.
Indeed.
The moment you become an MCA, you say goodbye to poverty. The moment you aspire to become a president and you make it, you say goodbye to poverty. And some of them support politicians with a hope that a politician will make it and he will appoint me in some capacity to say goodbye to poverty. There is very few, if anything, of the youths in this country who are inspired to leadership because they think the country is going a wrong way. And they say, I want to bring sanity to this nation. I want to salvage this country from collapse. I want to salvage this country from the global debts. I want to salvage this country from diminished return on our food, the food insecurity. I want to save this country from the unwanted insecurity among our people. There is very little youth who have such kind of attitude when they think about joining leadership. And so this country is at a very dangerous point, that unless we start learning on how to mentor, how to culture, and how to steer our youths into the good direction of what leadership really demands. I always often tell even my students at the university that a good leader is that one who knows the way. And knowing the way means you understand the history of your nation, the problems of your nation, and what brings those problems. Number two, a leader is the one who shows the way so that you give prescriptions to those problems, and those prescriptions must be pragmatic, must be practical, that they can solve those problems. That's a leader. And number three, most importantly, a leader is the one who goes that way. If you want to be a leader, and the moment you get the position of leadership, what defines you is corruption. What defines you is impunity. What defines you is ethnicity. What defines you is favoritism of the people around you. That what defines you is the know who, the person that who can worship you, not meritocracy, people who can serve this country. Because one, they have the capacity of the mind. Two, they are selfless. And number three, they know what they want to give to this country to get it from the abysses of poverty to the pedestal of prosperity. Unless we reach a point where we will get the leadership that inspire, the leadership that motivate, the leadership that model, the leadership that steer, show the way, guide that way, and live by the model they think every leader should live, we are not producing any youth that will get into leadership with a spirit of serving. And so I cry for the youths of this country. One time I was talking to the youths and I told them, If we were to walk on the streets of Nairobi to start pacifying and showing the way we want to go, we will be arrested of incitement. And I asked how many of the youths in my class could join me to go and preach the gospel of change, the gospel of transition to goodness, the gospel of virtue as opposed to what we perpetuate in vices. Mm-hmm. Two of the youths raised their hands. Nobody raised his hand. In fact, one told me, all those people who steal, they steal right now because they have an opportunity, they are in power. If I got the opportunity to be in the power and I'm accessible to the resources, I will do more than what they do. That is the spirit of the youths we have, because we have not shown the way.
Now, allow me to interject, Professor. As we finalize this dialogue that is quite informative, there has been like an argument that Kenya is quite an infant economy. It's an infant nation in democracy matters, that is also. And I'm going to ask you in a very brief way, can you be able to give us your perception on the youthness, or rather the young democracy that is Kenya, and how these matters of that it is a young democracy is actually adding to the fact that we are actually not having mentors to even bring up the next set of proper leaders.
My brother, the notion of Kenya being a young democracy is a mirage. Is a mirage in the context that democracy does not grow by time. Democracy grows by the mind. Democracy grows by principles. Democracy grows by commitment. And democracy, when it is embraced, it is not embraced on the pillars of age. Today, Kenya is more than 50 years old. We are over 50 years old since we got independence. We have gone to the elections, more than 10, 15 elections since we got independence. We have tried to suffocate democracy under one-party system. We stood firm and advocated for a multi-party system. We attained that multi-party system. And even after attaining multi-party system, we started fighting among ourselves against that system that we had actually attained. And so what I'm trying to say is that maturity of democracy is definable by the people who want to grow it. It is not defined by time. And so the concept of Kenya being a young democracy, we do not need time to grow. There is countries which have tried to suffocate. You saw America in the last election, trying to suffocate democracy when it is hundreds of years old in democracy. So democracy is perception and how you want to handle it, how you want to grow it. And I think we are mature in democracy. We are a mature economy. We only retard our economy because we are prone to corruption. We are prone to stealing. You are given an opportunity, you prefer to steal than to inject what the country is growing for the growth of a nation.
Indeed, indeed. I like the way you've put it out, Professor Thomas Destiny Namwamba, and also appreciate the time that you've actually set aside to actually give us your breakdown concerning the whole political situation currently in the country as the country transitions into a new power system, into a new regime where we'll see new leaders coming about. We'll see all this coming out about because the elections 2022 is something that is historic. Everything that is unfolding at this very moment is historic. Thank you very much, Professor Destiny Namwamba.
Thank you very much. I just want to urge Kenyans to exercise sobriety and be sober and love one another. And after this election, I leave you with this word. Please, whoever wins the election will be the president. But unless we Kenyans work hard to make the economy grow and to make sure that we live in harmony, if you wait for any president to make you rich, you are wrong. Because even poverty will know you by your name. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very well put. Poverty will know you by your name if you do not work hard. The words of Professor Thomas Destiny Namwamba. The Elections 22, a production that is for you to make sure you are up to date with everything concerning the general elections in this year, 2022. Thank you for your valued company, and we'll actually be updating you on everything that is happening concerning this election in our subsequent bulletins, in our reports. And you can be sure to catch up the Elections 2022 right here on KUTV. Thank you for your valued company, and goodbye.
You want to blend it until it is extremely light and creamy. So we're going to blend it one more time.